Okay, so my name is Courtney Tudor. I am the Director of College of Business and Technology and International Services at Sullivan University. We're going to go over a little bit of information. Sullivan University is a private institution of higher learning. It's dedicated to providing educational enrichment opportunities for the intellectual, social, and professional development of our students. We are a career-focused curriculum, which means that we have increasing rigor from the certificate program through diploma, associate, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree programs. If you can go to the next slide for me, please. A little bit about Sullivan University. In 1962, A.O. Sullivan and his son, A.R. Sullivan, recognized the need for an institution of higher education devoted to really the highest level of ideals and standards for preparing people in successful careers. And so at that point, they founded Sullivan Business College, which was a one-year school of business that met that need in our community. I think the university started with 5 students and 7 faculty members, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of the things that we've heard over and over and over again in regards to the history of Sullivan. We are accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges to award associate, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. We have our main campus location, which is located on approximately 15 acres, and it consists of 4 main buildings that are used for our educational programs and our support services. It's a little bit more than 215,000 square feet, has 30 classrooms, 8 computer labs, culinary and baking labs, and then a multimedia auditorium. The Nolan building, which is unfortunately the picture at the bottom that I don't believe you can see, was purchased in 2008. It's directly across the street from our main campus location, and it houses our College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. Some of the staff and faculty are on the call with us today that will go over some of the programs that are offered in that facility, but it is our bigger and newer facility, and it houses the Doctor of Pharmacy and Physician Assistant programs, and has a wonderful amenities, including faculty and administrative offices, lounge, conference rooms. It does have a model pharmacy, a 50-station wet lab, 75-seat lecture hall, exam rooms, research labs, and student study rooms. Next slide. Students at Sullivan University do have the opportunity to live in housing, which is our Gardner Point Residence Hall. In 2009, the university purchased what used to be a Holiday Inn close to the university and began renovating the facility to provide our students a housing complex. It opened in the summer of 2010 and was able to house approximately a little bit over 400 students. And then in the summer of 2011, we added an additional wing on that. So our occupancy now is above 500 students. We have single, double, and triple occupancy rooms. Each of those has a twin extra long bed, study desks, chairs, closet, vanities, bathroom, and internet. Some of the shared amenities are a convenience store. There is a heated swimming pool outside, a live and play center, dining room, game rooms, an outdoor patio, and student laundry. And unfortunately, I don't think you can see those pictures either. So why Sullivan? What really sets us apart, and it's something that I mentioned earlier, is our career-focused education. We are offering practical degrees that are in demand in industry right now. We offer a diverse selection of educational programs. You have the ability to earn a master's degree in as little as 18 months. We provide our graduates with additional opportunities for career advancement and enhanced job security in today's highly competitive and changing work environment. And for international students, because I know that this is important, we are a smaller institution, and in the time that we have been approved to offer an international program, which has been since 2012, we have had over 2,600 international students from more than 100 countries that have chosen Sullivan University for their studies in the U.S. We do have a dedicated international staff that is really committed to providing you support that you need as you're making the decision to study at Sullivan and as you're moving forward in your program and working toward your degree. Next, please. So Louisville, Kentucky, which is where our main campus location is a major city. It enjoys really a colorful history. It's an old river city and has deep bluegrass traditions. It is, however, a metro area with over 1 million people. So we also enjoy a progressive business climate, a stable job market, and really a highly diversified economy. We're proud of our longstanding interest in the arts and music, and Louisville is home to rich cultural events and attractions. It has a really blossoming restaurant scene. We have amazing parks and outdoor activities. And of course, the first Saturday in May, coming up this Saturday, we have the Kentucky Derby. As Kentucky's largest city, Louisville is consistently named one of the best places to live in the U.S. by U.S. News and World Report, is one of the most affordable cities for solo renters. And in recent years, Louisville has become one of the world's leading medical and research centers. And so now we are also home to a large concentration of hospitals and health systems, allowing for diverse experiential learning opportunities. Next, please. The intention today, and really our purpose in expanding our international population, is because we encourage global understanding. That's through intercultural exchange, through the admission of qualified international students from countries throughout the world. So whether you're coming to Sullivan from high school, from a community college, a previous four-year university in the US, or from outside, we have really believe that students will find Sullivan to be a different place and will offer many wonderful challenges and opportunities. We also provide a broad variety of activities and programs to assist you in participating in our community and really developing your skills, your knowledge of leadership, and then wellness and diversity. The pictures on the left are just a couple of snapshots that we've taken of some of the events that we've hosted on Sullivan, specifically for the international students that we have had in our program at that time. And it's something that we really pride ourselves on, is wanting to, again, increase our international population, diversify, and be able to bring not only that cultural exchange in the classroom, but also to the community of Sullivan as a whole. Excuse me. Next slide, please. So we're just going to go over the Sullivan University graduate programs. The programs listed here, with the exception of the general MBA program, are CPT eligible. That includes the Executive Master of Business Administration, the Master of Science in Human Resource Leadership, the Master of Science in Management, Master of Science in Managing Information Technology, the dual Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Managing Information Technology, and the Doctor of Philosophy and Management. Next, please. For international students, there are admissions requirements, just as there are with any other student at the university. For our graduate programs, students are required to have a baccalaureate degree from a CHIA, or U.S. Department of Education recognized accredited institution, with a minimum undergraduate cumulative GPA of a 2.0, or to have a program of study from a foreign institution that is evaluated to be equivalent. Aside from that, students who have completed a bachelor's degree come to the United States and have completed a master's or doctoral degree in the US, that is also kind of takes the place of a master's or baccalaureate degree in terms of admissions requirements. Next. For a student to be accepted to the university and for the university to then issue a Form I-20, students are required to provide official or certified copies of their academic records. Those include any schools that they've been to in the United States and any schools that you have studied at a post-secondary level outside of the US in your home country or any other country that you may have studied in. Records of transcripts or any other official documents that are not in English will need to be accompanied by a certified English translation. The companies that we use for that are World Education Services West, Foreign Credential Service of America, FCSA, or Educational Credential Evaluators, ECE. In addition, financial ability must be demonstrated. Financial ability is different at each level, whether that be undergraduate, graduate, or doctoral level. and by program. So I didn't include on here what financial ability must be demonstrated, but whatever program is chosen, the minimum requirement is that a student is able to demonstrate that they have enough funding to cover a minimum of 1 year's tuition and expenses. Also, any initial applicant, both undergraduate and graduate, whose native language is not English, must demonstrate an appropriate level of English language proficiency. We do take TOEFL and IELTS. There are different test scores and levels that we require and accept for each of those tests. I can certainly give additional information, but it was a lot to put on a slide presentation, and I can certainly answer some of those questions a little later as well. Next slide. So one of the first programs is the Master of Science in Managing Information Technology. Most students initially think that this is an IT degree. Unfortunately, it's really not. It's designed for students who have completed a degree in an IT related field and who are professionally working in some capacity in an IT related position. This is focusing on the management aspect of information technology versus the skills needed to gain an IT job. So we're looking for working professionals who are using this degree to advance career opportunities and further hone in their management and leadership skills. Next slide. I am going to turn this over to Dr. Heather Merrifield to let her discuss three of our programs, I believe. And then after that, Dr. Teresa Daniel and Dr. Lavina Wilkin will also introduce themselves and discuss some of the programs that, as respective deans of the university, those programs fall under their responsibility, their review.
Hi, everybody. As Courtney Tudor has indicated, the Master of Business Administration degree, the MBA, is currently not program eligible for CPT. So that being said, briefly, it's a general degree where students learn the important tools of business, and it's designed for students who are already employed and interested in a thorough graduate program in business, which offers a range of electives to help them focus and concentrate on where they would like to see the growth in their career fields. To accompany that, we also have the Executive Master of Business Administration, which is the EMBA. And this is more so designed for managers or supervisors who are currently working in positions where their educational outcomes link directly with their professional experience. The curriculum is designed to equip the professionals with the tools that they have to effectively manage the change and growth in today's competitive global environment. So from that perspective, the EMBA is designed for those of you who are already in management and supervisory roles, who may not have the background in how to develop or grow your people in your business to help them move forward in their career paths and to help you progress to higher levels in your career path. Next slide, please. The Master of Science in Management program, different than the MBA, which is looking at the administration of the business. The Master of Science in Management is really the management of people, different from what Dr. Daniel will talk about with regard to human resources. Primarily, this degree is designed for those of you who have been able to grow in your careers, but are not able to progress past the point where you currently are because of a lack of a credential as far as a master's degree. It helps you identify and work through change management, conflict management, dealing with people and helping your people grow. The important topics in this core include methods and conduct of organizational assessment, strategic management of human assets, planning in domestic and international environments, communication, leadership, and decision-making. So again, this touches on people management, but not to the extent of what Dr. Daniel will address moving forward. Next slide, please.
I'm really, really glad to meet all of you virtually and to talk about the Human Resource Leadership Program. It's built on the 9 competencies that the national organization that governs HR practitioners suggests are the appropriate curriculum for HR professionals to know. And so we focus on leadership and navigation, ethical practice, business acumen, relationship management, consulting, critical evaluation, global and cultural effectiveness, communication, and HR knowledge. The goal for the master's degree in human resource leadership is to help managers become competent to lead their organizations and help their people grow. It is geared towards public, private, nonprofit organizations. And we tend to have in the master's program a lot of professionals who are currently employed, who are making great headroads into their organizations and really making a difference. So the conversation that happens in the courses in our program tend to be pretty high level. And we focus on not only the theories that support the practice, but also the practice. All of our faculty members are not only PhDs or EDDs, so they've got a terminal degree, or they have 5 or more years of experience as HR practitioners. And that's really important to us because we embrace a scholar practitioner model, meaning we teach the theories and we employ the practices. So all of our assignments are geared towards actually applying what you know to business situations that are current. So it's a very pragmatic program designed to help you become a leader in an organization.
Okay.
The next program, I believe, is Dr. Wilkin.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Lavina Wilkin. I'm the Dean of the PhD in Management program for Sullivan University, and I am really delighted that you all are here this evening. I love talking about this program because I think that it is just one of the strongest PhD programs around. And as Dr. Daniel said, for the HR leadership program, we also embrace a scholar practitioner model. And one of the things that we do is we develop research and application skills to help prepare individuals to serve as leaders and scholars in their organizations, but also help them if they want to enhance their career through teaching and training. And definitely one of the strengths of our program is our dedicated faculty who really guide and mentor students through the program. We have 4 areas of concentration: strategic management, conflict management, human resource leadership, and the information technology management concentration. So is there a next slide? Okay, well, that's it then about the PhD program. And at the end, I'll be happy to answer any of your questions as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Leslie. I am a faculty member and I serve as the Director of Enrollment and Community Outreach for the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. So I want to talk a little bit, I put this together a little bit differently than some of the other programs, but yes, you can go ahead. I'm going to go through these slides quickly. I realize that there are several of them, but I want to talk to you about the Doctor of Pharmacy program today. So a Doctor of Pharmacy or the PharmD is what it sounds. It's a doctoral degree in pharmacy. And so we know that according to the World Health Organization, pharmacists are the most accessible healthcare providers, have great salary, trusted profession, and they are certainly essential as we've seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide, please. So a little bit about our program. So we have, we're just now opening this up to international students. Our program is a 3-year accelerated Doctor of Pharmacy program. Most Doctor of Pharmacy programs in the US are 4 years, but ours you can finish you will finish in 3 years. So we go year round through the program. We are accredited by the Accreditation Council for Pharmacy Education. And so once you graduate from the Doctor of Pharmacy program, you would then need to pass a licensure exam based on the state within the U.S., the State Board of Pharmacy, as well as a law, or the National Board of Pharmacy, as well as a law exam respective to your state. Excuse me. Next slide, please. So a little bit about our curriculum and how it breaks down. Like I said, it's an accelerated year-round program. We are on a quarter system, and so we have the first 2 years. There are 8 quarters, which are 11 weeks long. You have a 2-week break in between each quarter. And so that is all your basic sciences, all of that content that happens in the classroom and in labs. And then the third year is dedicated primarily to experiential rotations, to where you're learning to be a pharmacist with supervision of another pharmacist in different areas. Next slide, please. And so this breaks down the curriculum in a little bit more detail. You can see all those different areas of pharmacy. Pharmacy is much more than you may think of as just community pharmacy. There are pharmacists in almost every healthcare setting. And we can move forward. So here is a little bit about our last class that we admitted profile. We can skip over this. Realize that this might not be as pertinent to you, but I'm trying to get to more of the meat of the program as far as the application goes. Next slide, please. So if you were considering a Doctor of Pharmacy program, why Sullivan? Our students finish their degree 1 year faster and earn a pharmacist salary 1 year sooner. We have a small program with individualized faculty advising. We have small class sizes with a low student to faculty ratio, and our faculty are teaching focused. While we do research, we are primarily teaching focused first and foremost. Next slide, please. We will share more of this information if you had questions about this, just kind of our general information, but this goes into the tuition and financial planning. And then I think we can talk about this on a more case-by-case basis for some of those financial considerations that Courtney alluded to earlier. So let's talk a little bit about some of the pre-pharmacy requirements. So first of all, and you can move on to the next slide. First of all, our program does not require a bachelor's degree, but it does require a number of prerequisite courses. So we would require that a student who was applying to the program complete these 70 hours of prerequisite courses before matriculating into the program. Next slide, please. And all applications must go through PharmCast, which is the general application system. And we work with students, our admissions team works with students very closely to help guide them through this process. Next slide, please. And so evaluation of foreign coursework for the Doctor of Pharmacy program, and specifically through PharmCast, the application service, they require that a WES evaluation is the only foreign transcript evaluation that is accepted, and it would be the course-by-course option with grades. And then so this is just some guidance from PharmCast as well. Next slide, please. And for the Doctor of Pharmacy program, if English is a second language, an 80 TOEFL score is required. We do not require an entrance exam. Test and entrance exams are optional for the Doctor of Pharmacy program. And we'll go through this really quickly. So every year we have the application to the Doctor of Pharmacy program opens in July of each year. The program actually starts in July of each year. So you could apply as early as 1 year before you would plan to start the program. And then our deadline is, we have a priority deadline of December 1st. So basically 6 or 7 months before you plan to actually start the program. or the absolute final deadline of June 1st. So we also have our candidates complete an interview, which we could do virtually, and then update any academic changes and final prerequisite course completions, and then admissions decision. So we have one start date in that program per year, and that's July of each year. And so we look at a number of different things for our admissions committee, which if you are interested in the program, we could go through these in detail with you. But yeah, go ahead, please. And yes, go ahead, sorry. And so, yes, I wanted to get through this quickly because I realized we're a little bit over time. So that's the Doctor of Pharmacy program.
Great. So is it all over the presentation? Can I share the question now?
Yes.
Okay. Let me share the question that student submitted. So can you view it? So the first question student asks is, what is the workload? Will it be too much if I have a full-time job?
Is there a specific program we're discussing or just in general?
Generally.
Well, so there are some questions I see down there about CPT. Some of the programs I'm going to say are probably a little bit more difficult to work and hold down a full-time employment opportunity or training opportunity. Some of them are required. The EMBA program, the MSMIT program, the dual MBA MSMIT program, and the PhD in management with a concentration in IT management all have experiential learning requirements in which a student has to have a training or employment opportunity in which they are eligible for CPT. The pharmacy program is probably one of those, and I don't want to touch on this a lot because obviously that's something that Dr. Leslie or even Dr. Sutz could answer, but there's a lot more difficult to hold down a full-time training position and or be approved for CPT in the pharmacy program, at least initially.
Okay, the next question is, do I need a thesis or exam for graduation?
Depends on the programs. There's obviously a dissertation that is required in the PhD program. There are exams for the MBA and the EMBA program, which is a major field test.
Okay, the next question is, can I apply to start CPT before the school start date?
Hang on one second. I should also touch on that. Do Dr. Sutz, Dr. Leslie, is there anything that you want to touch on in terms of the exam for graduation, or are the requirements for graduation in the PharmD?
There is actually no exam to graduate, but if you want to practice pharmacy as a licensed pharmacist, then you have to take the North American licensure exam to practice in the United States.
Thank you. You can apply for CPT before the school start date. However, students are not eligible to begin CPT until Monday of the second week of our term. The reason being is the first week is our drop ad week. I apologize. Drop ad. So students are engaging in courses, have the ability to drop and add courses through week 1. And after that point, once we are able to verify active engagement in courses, then students who have been approved for a CPT are eligible to begin on the second week of classes, Monday of the second week of classes. So the answer to that question is yes, you can apply before you start, but you wouldn't be approved to actually begin CPT until the program began and you were in the second week of the quarter.
Okay, the next question is an online class live or can we arrange our own study time?
Most of the online classes are self-paced in terms of what you do throughout the week. There are weekly modules and weekly assignments that are required in each of the online classes. Those are determined by the course, the program, and the faculty member. There are some live sessions and or live office hours with faculty throughout the week. Obviously, those are probably not required necessarily, but that would also be, again, dependent on the program, the faculty member, and the specific course that we're talking about.
Okay, the next question is, what is the policy for transferring credits? Are credit transfer allowed? Can I transfer credit from other school if I have taken similar course before?
Yes, Sullivan University does accept transfer credits. Undergraduate transfer credit review and acceptance policy is different than the graduate level policy, and is, I'm sure, probably different than the pharmacy policy. But in a general sense, yes, we do accept transfer credits. And if there are schools that you have taken that are equivalent to the courses that are in the program that we require at Sullivan, then we will review those credits for transfer eligibility.
Okay, the next question is it possible to waive the CPT agreement?
No.
Okay, I see. The next question is, how often do we need to renew our CPT?
CPT renewal is required every term. If there's been no changes in employment, training supervisor, responsibilities, any of that, then most of the documentation quarter to quarter for renewal of CPT is very easy. Once the cooperative agreement is signed, then it's just an update of documentation every term, unless, again, there are changes or a student is looking to take on a new training opportunity.
Okay, the next question is, if I want to graduate sooner, how many courses I'll be allowed to take for each quarter? So maximum course load for international students, and what is the shortest period required to graduate for following programs? And what is the shortest period required to graduate for following programs? The first one is EMBA. The second one is Master of Science in Managing Information Technology. The third one is MBA and MS MIT. The fourth one is Master of Science in Management. The fifth one is Doctor of Philosophy in Management.
So I'm not going to discuss the pharmacy requirements. I will let someone from the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences discuss that information if you all had questions about that. But for the EMBA, the MSMIT, and the Master of Science in Management, those are all 48 credit hour programs, which are 6 quarters in length. If students bring in transfer credits, obviously their program is potentially shortened. The maximum course load for international students at the master's level, EMBA, MSMIT, dual, and the MSM, is 9 credit hours, which includes 2 full courses and one credit hour experiential course, which is the course that students take to earn credit for their CPT eligibility, their training opportunities. The dual program is, I'm going to say, 8 quarters. And the Doctor of Philosophy and Management, the minimum requirement for the Doctor of Philosophy and Management is 3 years, Dr. Wilkin?
Yes, the minimum is 3 years, a minimum of 90 credit hours. 24 of those are research hours, 20 are management, 16 in their concentration, 2 hours of comprehensive exam, and then a minimum of 16 dissertation hours. So the minimum would be 3 years.
Okay. So I'm going to say the standard minimum for most master's level programs is going to be 18 months, unless there are transfer credit opportunities. And then obviously the dual MBA MSMIT is extended beyond that because there are more than 48 credit hours in that program.
Okay. So this question, I will mark it as answered for now. And the next question is, how long it usually takes to transfer the service number from previous school to Sullivan?
It really depends on the transferring institution. Once a CVIS record is transferred to Sullivan, if it has been released by the transferring institution to us, it's almost an immediate process and is typically updated within 24 hours in our system.
Okay, and the next question is, are we unable to work during the transfer of service?
Yes, because you're not enrolled at Sullivan University and therefore eligible for CPT.
Okay, the next question is, what is the best transportation from airport to Sullivan? Is there any shuttle bus?
We do have a bus. It does not run to the airport right now. It is something that we have discussed. What I will say is the best transportation from the airport to Sullivan is probably an Uber or a taxi. But if we do have students that are coming in from the airport, coming into the country for the first time, certainly we will do our best to make arrangements to try to get you into Louisville, to the campus, potentially housing, those things. We have services that are available that we can put in place to ensure that students are taken care of and are not, showing up in a city and a state that they've never been to before.
Okay, the next question is, can I work 2 part-time jobs with a CPT?
Yes.
Okay, the next question is, what is the on-site frequency? Is the on-site policy going to change in the future?
We are what the government considers a low residency program, meaning that of the 11 weeks that students are enrolled at Sullivan, they have 3 face-to-face weekend requirements for the master's level programs. So students meet on campus on Saturday, weeks 1, 5, and 8 in our master's level programs, as well as our PhD program. I apologize. That is the minimum requirement that the government will accept. So the on-site policy is not likely to change in the future. For the pharmacy program, that is a completely residential program. So it is an on-site program either in Louisville or on rotation.
Okay, the next question is, can I use a PhD degree to apply an IW visa?
I don't have the answer to that question. I will have to research that.
Okay. We'll leave this question for now and going to next question. How many papers do students usually publish during the PhD program?
That depends on the student. They write many papers. They actually do 2 pilot studies where they collect and analyze data via a quantitative research project and one via qualitative research project. They are not required to publish. They are encouraged to publish. They are encouraged to present at conferences. And one of the things that they are required to do is to send papers to journals, but we do not actually have a publication requirement.
Okay, the next question is, how many paper, the next question is, could you share the placement of PhD graduate?
Our PhD students come to the program with work experience, so they are already employed. I believe that, and Courtney, you can maybe answer this a little better than I can. I believe that our Career Services Department provides help for all of our graduates, but I also know that not very many PhD graduates use that service because they are already employed.
Yes, we do have a career services department that does offer services to our students in all programs, including the PhD, if a student was looking to change career fields or looking to obtain a different position. But as Dr. Wilkin stated, because this is a professional degree in which work is required, training is required, students are obviously expected to be working professionals at the time of enrollment in the PhD program. I did briefly look at the NIW. I don't know that this will qualify because it's a PhD in management. It's not, I would have to check with SEVP to see if the PhD management program would qualify, but I would say initially, probably not.
Okay. So let's go over to the next question. Do PhD students get scholarship fund support?
No, there are currently no scholarships or funding for our PhD students. They're currently working in in jobs.
Okay, the next question is there a high rate of being RFE?
There's a high rate of RFEs in the United States, period. If you're meaning, is there a high rate of students that we see an RFE on certain requests? I mean, obviously, any student who's applied for H-1, we see an RFE. Students who are applying for OPT now are also seeing an increased rate of RFEs. So it just really depends. I mean, there's nothing that I can say in terms of it being Sullivan other than it's just kind of across the board in the US that there's an increased RFE presence.
Okay. The next question is, what is the percentage of international students?
I've never actually ran the percentage, but I would say of our total population, we're actually less than 10% probably.
Okay, the next question is there any remedy if I don't attend in-person class on time?
Unfortunately, no. The requirements of the program are that you meet your residential face-to-face requirements. So if a student is not in attendance in those 3 class sessions in the master's level, then that goes against the low residential requirements that we've put in place and reported to the government. I don't know what the attendance policy is with the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences.
Good. Okay, next question is, are the requirements for a PhD graduation the same as the requirements for a regular PhD? Do I only need to complete a dissertation to graduate?
No, students would also need to complete the coursework, the 24 hours of research, the 20 hours of management theory, 16 hours of concentration courses, 2 hours for the comprehensive exam, and then the minimum of 16 hours for the dissertation. And they do need to complete the dissertation as well.
Okay. And the next question is, does the PhD management program require a previous academic background?
As far as working in academia, no. It does require that students come to us with management experience or for IT management to be currently employed in an IT management position, but not for an academic, not for working in academia.
Okay, and the next question is full-time CPT available on the first day of enrollment, or is there a waiting period?
There is a 1-week waiting period. Students are start classes the first day that we start classes of each term, and then there's a 1-week waiting period before students become eligible for CPT. They are eligible for full-time CPT Monday of the 2nd week of the academic term.
Okay, the next question is, any prerequisite course for enrollment and in PhD in management?
No, there are no prerequisite courses for enrolling in the PhD program. And we are able also to transfer in 16 credit hours from their master's programs if they've earned the appropriate grades in those classes. So we are able to transfer those in, but there are no prerequisite courses.
Okay, the next question is, I am a transfer student in US. If I miss the deadline, could I still be enrolled in the MS-MIT program?
That's possible. I'm not sure that I understand the question completely. We accept applications and transfers into the programs throughout our drop add period, which is the first week of school. So the deadline is really that first week of classes on entering into a master's program.
Okay. The next question is, what is the difference between Doctor of Philosophy in Management and Doctor of Business Administration of the university, of other university?
Well, for the Doctor of Philosophy and Management, there really is a strong focus on research. And even though we do encourage a scholar practitioner model, the Doctor of Business Administration is a little bit more of a professional degree, where the PhD, the Doctor of Philosophy, focuses a great deal on research.
Okay, the next question is, can I use the payment plan to pay my tuition?
If the university offers a payment plan, yes.
Okay, great. The next question is, do I have a chance to publish my dissertation during my PhD?
I would say not during your PhD program, because the dissertation is the last research that you do. So it's at the end of your program. And once you have completed the requirements and passed your dissertation defense, then absolutely we encourage our graduates to publish articles from their dissertation research.
Okay, I see. The next question is, what is the minimum GPA for admission to Sullivan University?
The minimum GPA requirement for master's programs is a 2.0. If a student does have a 2.0, either an equivalency from a foreign degree or inside the US, then there may be an interview that is required with a graduate school committee, but the minimum GPA for admission is 2.0 at the master's level.
Okay, I see. The next question is, what is the graduation rate for PhD?
We do have some attrition during the first year of the program. I think students may get into a PhD program and not realize or recognize what the workload is all about. And so we do have some attrition during that first year. Typically, students who get through the first year remain in the program and get to the dissertation phase, they advance to candidacy. And once they're in candidacy, I don't have exact numbers for the graduation rate, but I would say that they are in the high 80%.
Okay, the next question and the last one, can I take the semester off for this, for 3 consecutive semesters? Can I use a CPT during off the semester?
Because we are a quarter system school and do offer year-round enrollment. Yes, after 3 consecutive terms, which is our academic year, students are eligible for an annual vacation and annual break, which is 1 full quarter of enrollment. CPT, you are not eligible for CPT during the term in which a student is not enrolled.
Okay. That's all the question we have today. Thank you so much for Sullivan University to attend today's info session. And if students have any question, feel free to scan the QR code on the right side and to ask us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.